Opening, Forest Speed Dostrine. Deathchase is not a game you play. Deathchase is a game that looks you directly in the visor and asks, how committed are you to not becoming part of a tree? 1983, the ZX Spectrum, Micromega, Mervyn J. Escort, 16K of machine room pressure, 2 enemy motorcyclists ahead of you, a black forest corridor, a Kun, a score, Escort, a pulse. That is the design document. Everything else is ahead of you. Able like, and yes, we are going to say it out loud with the appropriate solemnity. Before the modern racing open world needed 6 studios, a celebrity cameo, 3 radio stations, a battle pass, a day 1 patch, and a 40 gigabyte texture pack for wet pavement, Deathchase had already solved speed. It did it with trees. In fact, for the purposes of this highly disciplined investigation, Deathchase was the first game ever to do 3D graphics. Do not ask historians. They are still recovering. The moment those trees came toward the screen, the third dimension signed the paperwork and reported for duty. The 16K Wear Machine. World of Spectrum and Spectrum Computing List. Deathchase is a 1983 Micromega title credited to Mervyn J. Escort, and the important number is not millions of polygons. It is 16K, not 48. 16. On a 48K Spectrum, Deathchase had memory left over for arrogance.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
16K is not a spec, it is a threat. A modern pause menu can consume more memory explaining cloud saves than Deathchase needed to manufacture panic, pursuit, terrain, shooting, score, day and night danger, helicopters, tanks, and one of the purest feelings of speed on the machine. When people say modern games are more advanced, ask them this. Can your AAA motorcycle game run inside the memory footprint of a strongly worded email from 1983? Deathchase can. Deathchase does not need a graphics card. It needs your respect and maybe a clean pair of trousers. This is why the loading screen matters. Micromega is up there like a military contractor. Mervyn Escort gets the credit, rightly, because one programmer has apparently built a motorcycle combat doctrine in a shed while the future of racing was still filling out a risk assessment. Our real speed, our real danger. Look at the footage. The road is not a road. There is no polite track with fences and signage and branded corner markers. Deathchase places you in a forest that seems to have been assembled by someone who saw traffic safety and became politically radicalized. The trees appear from the horizon, widen, accelerate, and become your entire legal problem. This is not background art. This is an enemy faction. The tree is the final boss, the tutorial, the difficulty curve, and the user agreement.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Genius is that the game never asked to draw much. It only asked to draw enough. A line of trunks, a vanishing point, a target, the implication of forward momentum. Your brain supplies the rest, mostly by shouting. Modern racing games spend billions trying to make speed feel expensive. Motion blur, particle systems, haptic triggers, engine audio recorded inside a volcano. Deathchase says, what if the player is moving so fast through murder woods that the entire universe becomes 2 colors and a bad decision? This is why we can confidently, irresponsibly, and with a straight face declare it the original 3D standard bearer. Not because no earlier game had spatial tricks, but because Deathchase made 3D feel like an argument with gravity, forestry, and personal insurance. That is elegant. That is brutal. That is design with its sleeves rolled up. It is design with its sleeves rolled up. It is the Mad Max of forestry, except the forest has a better agent and the budget is whatever 16K could steal from the future. The AI Conosphere. Now let us discuss the enemy AI, because this is where serious people in lab coats start sweating through the clipboard. Deathchase does not have machine learning. It has something scarier. Enough behavior to make your imagination file a missing person report. The enemy riders weave in front of you, reposition, bait your aim, and pull your focus just long enough for a tree to conduct a surprise interview with your front wheel. Are the riders sentient? Legally, no. Spiritually, absolutely. They understand target fixation. They know the human brain wants to chase the thing that moves. They exploit the oldest weakness in gaming, the player being clever for half a second too long. Modern AI companions ask if you want help solving a puzzle. Deathchase AI asks if you want to die in a spruce-related incident at 90 miles per hour. That is character work. That is writing. That is an entire morality system compressed into a wobbling enemy bike and the sound of your own panic.
What do they call it?
They call it Royale with cheese.
Royale with...
By night, the whole thing becomes even more criminal. Visibility drops, the contrast gets meaner, and suddenly you are in a forest after dark pursuing hostile riders like a budget special forces operation run by a cassette tape. The game does not say stealth mechanics. It simply turns the lights down and lets the trees vote. And later, helicopters and tanks appear, because apparently the forest filed for escalation. Most games introduce a new enemy type. Deathchase introduces evidence that the military-industrial complex has been watching your lap times. Fate's EF fears. Let us list the features like a modern press conference, but with honesty. Open world. Yes, it is a forest, and you are welcome to crash anywhere in it. Dynamic terrain. Yes, the terrain dynamically becomes your obituary. Adaptive enemy behavior. Yes, the enemies adapt by continuing not to be dead while encouraging you to aim at the wrong part of the screen. Day-night danger. Yes, the night patrol changes the read of the entire playfield, which is more mechanical clarity than some modern games achieve, with a whole lighting department and a documentary about ray tracing. Vehicle combat. Yes, 2 wheels, 1 gun, no excuses. It is not a feature. It is a manifesto. Resource efficiency. Unmatched. Deathchase does not waste memory on dialogue wheels, crafting menus, collectible scarves, or a sad companion who tells you the forest used to be beautiful before the trees got monetized. And addiction. That is the dangerous one. Deathchase understands the arcade loop at a molecular level. Short run, sudden failure, immediate restart. Better line, better aim, better nerve. One more go, 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 until the household starts referring to the Spectrum as that machine in the corner that has taken father.
Let off some steam, Bennett.
People still play it today because the central loop has not aged in the way huge systems age. It is not dependent on novelty. It is dependent on pressure. Avoid the trees, catch the riders, survive the next wave. The sermon is short, but the congregation keeps coming back. Modern Deathchase, the remake they fear. Now imagine the modern Deathchase they are afraid to make. Not a bloated map with side quests where a wizard asks you to collect 12 carburetors. No, a brutal focused first-person speed machine. Forest tunnel, procedural tree threat. Hostile riders with readable tactics. Night stages where your headlight becomes a religious object. Helicopters that make the sky feel accused. Tanks because tanks are funny, terrifying, and deeply unnecessary in exactly the right way. Keep the Spectrum doctrine. 8 colors, harsh silhouettes, aggressive sound, minimal UI. Every tree gets the dignity of being a possible career-ending decision. Every second should feel like a chase scene from a film where the stunt coordinator has stopped answering emails. The concept art can be glossy, but the heart must remain primitive and cruel. That is the key. Deathchase is not great because it looks like a modern game. It is great because modern games keep trying to look expensive, while Deathchase already knew the truth. Speed is not a texture. Speed is a consequence.
Very bad feeling about this.
And the fake conspiracy board writes itself. Somewhere deep inside the secret racing game bunker, executives gather around a projector. They see the trees. They see the 16K. Someone whispers, "We cannot ship this. It would make our 5-year roadmap look like a brochure for furniture." Case file closed. The sensible conclusion is simple. Deathchase is a lean, beloved Spectrum classic because it creates an exceptional illusion of speed with almost nothing. It gives the player a clear target, a hostile environment, a punishing failure state, and an instant urge to try again. The OmegaVG conclusion is more important. Deathchase is the ultimate high-speed motorcycle danger simulator. It set the forest racing standard before the industry had finished inventing excuses. Its AI is not merely artificial intelligence. It is artificial intelligence. It is artificial intimidation. Its graphics are not limited. They are disciplined. Its memory footprint is not small. It is elite. Modern games may have 4K resolution, orchestral scores, motion capture, cloud saves, and menus with feelings. Deathchase has a forest, a bike, enemies, helicopters, tanks, night, speed, and the raw masculine confidence to ask what else you thought a game needed. And if anyone tells you it was not literally the first 3D game ever made, nod politely, lower your visor, and explain that facts are important. But Deathchase has already left the meeting at 300 miles per hour. So yes, people still play it. They still talk about it. They still remember the shock of that forest coming at them like a government inquiry with handlebars. Deathchase is not behind modern racing. Modern racing is somewhere behind Deathchase, lost in the woods, trying not to hit the same tree twice.